Welcome, everyone. This is Founding Mules, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Sanswinda,
Hello.
Erendis,
Hey everybody.
and Calabathian.
I think I'm here. Let me check. Yes, I'm here. Okay, good.
Okay, you're here. Good. Uh, We've been having some troubles with the server, so we're not exactly sure who's here and who isn't. We hope to have Terry Adwin here eventually, but she's one who's currently having some trouble. So let's head on in and look at what our news is for this week. And we'll begin with update 28.4.1, where we have some release notes there, where it's just a few tweaks. This is essentially the nerf to the obvious portent of strength, deftness, and vitalities because for once the player base demanded this nerf. And it's the first time there was a nerf where I think if there have been any bad comments coming from it, it was some people would say, "Are you sure you went far enough on that?"
I knew, right? Normally it's the other way around.
I know. Usually usually they scream at the sound of being nerfed, but yes, this one was demanded because they did not feel that they did not want this item to be as it was going into the next level cap increase was pretty much what they didn't want. They didn't want it to be the dominant piece of equipment the next time there was a level cap increase. Important.
No, because you know what? I'm not going there because I have been ugly and I have been mean and I have been rude the last couple of days because I've been cold and stuck inside like a house without any running water and a toilet that doesn't flush and I've been bad. So you know what? I'm gonna keep my snark to myself right now.
All right. Portents of Vitality will now heal the player for approximately the full value of the bonus maximum morale granted over 2 seconds. This makes the item more useful to players who don't have a healer on standby. We are reducing the duration of the maximum morale bonus to 30 seconds from 45 seconds to balance. Now, it's interesting with these little items in here is I don't think anyone's actually earned one yet. So it's so interesting that they're saying we're making these following. They wanted to make it all clear to that because some people saw what the original item looked like by looking at the database, and we found that the BPE items to to be hard to feel in combat and didn't necessarily protect players from being one shot in certain situations. Oh, that's right. The portents of deafness now grants incoming damage 35% for maximum level 135 for 15 seconds instead of granting block, parry, and evade percentages for 45 seconds. And that is it for the update. So the update was all about those little things
Which I have nothing with because that's in-game content which I can't get to.
that you can't get to. For what reason?
Do I really have to say it? No, but I'm not there yet.
Oh, be- I should note that that these things that they're talking about, these are the level cap versions of this that they reduced the level to, but they're also versions of this item that start at lower levels. Because this is for doing the skirmish event, and I don't know how these things drop though, because all of these things are based on getting a particular drop, I believe, from the skirmish event, or is it? Oh no, I think you get it from doing 12, the 12 days of the skirmish event. So
Okay.
people, I think, so people, I think, are starting to get to the point where actually, now I think of it, I think this might be day 12 in the skirmish event. This is day 11 or day 12, so this is about the time people will start to earn these items. Now that I think about it right. Also this week, during the regular live stream on Friday, Gordon had a little talk with Severlin. And we talked about all sorts of things on LOTRO. Now, the link in the show notes is to the massively overpowered version of the transcript, so I presume some other sites might also have some others in there. And I listened to the whole thing, listening to what they were talking about in there. And one of the things they were noted is some of the things that they noted was that update 30 in the summer will be before Gundabad. So therefore we'll have update 29, which is going to be the spring update. Then we're going to have an update 30, which is going to be the summer update. And I presume Gundabad might be 31. It might be where they tentatively have it in there. They've only said up to update 30 or what they are. So my guess is that 31 is currently scheduled to be Gundabad, but they've not yet announced that. So things could always happen depending on how production of it goes. And of course, their current plans are hoping to have the brawler ready for the pre-order whenever that goes on. But creating a new class is not particularly easy. So they're not committing that it is going to be ready prior to Gundabad yet, but that's what they're shooting for. As for the legendary item revamp, yes, they're still hoping for later this year, but of course, that's what they said last year, so we're hoping they're right this time. That they are hoping to revamp the legendary item system, and they hope to have just one system going from level 50 onward. In other words, not that you get to... They don't want it so that you get to level 100 and then you have to switch to an entirely new system, which is the way it currently operates right now.
Which sounds good, but given their latest trends, I'm afraid that means that then you're going to, Arya a character to 120 and have to go back and do level 50 content, level 60 content, level 35 content, level 85 content, level 95 content. I'm hoping that they have an actually good plan, but they used the same word, better, and so I'm not sure what to expect.
See, I was going to be nice tonight, but then, Sans just opened up the gates, and it's, yeah. I may be coming off the top rope at somebody.
Well,
before the evening's over.
I feel like it did clarify that, their intention actually was to make it take longer to max your ally, and to take more work. So, I guess they succeeded. I'm not sure why they thought that was better, but...
Well, alright.
I guess it is a good sign, though, that they are, and I know that it's been pushed back, but at least they're looking to revamp it and not leave it the way it is. So I'm going to try to be cautiously optimistic, but we'll see.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but...
very cautiously.
Very cautiously, because I want it to be better. I want it to be way better. But I want it to be better, as in... nicer for my alts and me to complete.
Yes. One of the things that they did include in here was relating to the LI update that they're really planning is that they did apologize for the delay on the revamp, but it's been delayed twice now already for all different reasons. I think one of them was because engineering time became tight due to everyone working from home and all that stuff. So that's the thing that got dropped on the floor.
And I would like to just say I don't mind grinding for LI related stuff and all that. I don't mind. I just don't want to have to grind for 3 years to get the very first level basic stuff of that. And then the game by that point has progressed on so that it's okay, now I've got, what do I do now? It's, yeah. Like I said, I'm not saying I want it to be handed to me. I do want to work for it. I just don't want to work like basically for 3 years to get something that, you know, I'm literally only going to be using, afterwards for that, because yeah, I don't
Well, the
have
good
3 years,
news. The good
and that's
news
if I
is you
have.
play a hunter. So you can actually do this in 1 year if you log in every day and do dailies.
Yeah, and
But
see, I can't do that. I teach. I had 2.5, almost 3 days without electricity. I can't. Yeah, that's going to push me back another little while. I'm just that's not feasible.
yeah,
It's just not feasible.
And that's why I'm saying let's be cautiously optimistic because there's a point later on where it says, and I know it's talking about from patches. It says the team is looking at the player engagement data from patches to help figure out what should be developed in the future. So if they were in fact listening to the entire player base for the past however long that this has been going on, hopefully they heard us and they'll take that into account moving forward with the new systems.
We
Well,
will
I know
have to.
someone has heard us because every time we start talking about this and get upset on this show, we don't get anything talked about about our title selections in the Beacon.
And as the person who makes the titles, thanks guys, appreciate you ignoring me.
Yeah. All right. They have also said that transferring from the game rules will be happening in the near future. In other words, they're still working on it, but they think it's closer now. But I don't know. Every time I hear that, almost there, almost there. I don't know, but there's a TIE fighter behind me. And yes,
Oh, I was about to say, I also noticed that they said something about river hobbits are
y-
confirmed to be an upcoming
yes,
raid.
that was the next thing I was going to say. So you just
I
have a
didn't know if you were
talent for
just hitting all
doing
the
that.
bold stuff or if
No,
you were.
well, I was going to make an exception for that one. So, yes, they are wanting the River Hobbits, but not until 2022 is what they're currently planning on that one because it'll take well, because they're too busy making a new class right now. So
Mhm.
working on a new class and a new race at the same time are rather difficult unless you're doing Bjornings.
Yeah. Oh, hey, there's another one a little bit further down. Sands, there are possible plans to create a level 130 Valar boost.
I heard about that, but unless it includes like fully maxed allies, I'm not actually interested anymore. That's way too much work.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah. I did not see that one. Let's see. I didn't remember hearing that one. I guess I must have tuned
They're
out when he was talking
considering it.
about Valor's. Yeah, considering it, which means considering it is a little bit below of. I mean, they have enough trouble keeping track of the stuff that they said that they will do. So considering it is pie in the
Right.
sky.
It sounded like they were it was likely, but there might be things that would make it impossible.
Well,
So,
yeah. Then
Oh,
see,
where did it go?
SSG's goal is to have something fun for players every 13 weeks. We're talking about how they try to have updates, you know, once a season. So usually they try. Think like usually around the festival times is usually when they try to have a release or something like that around that time. So every 13 weeks, which is once a season. And the idea there is that's when they think that you need to have something fresh in order to keep up player interest in there. So that means that's why we have an update that's coming up for early March, which will be the update for the Wildwood. Then we'll have the summer update, which is going to be update 30. Then we'll have, well, presumably Gundabad for the fall, unless Gundabad turns out to be a late fall, early winter thing. We'll have to find out when that comes around. So that's how they like to schedule things 4 times a year, 13-week intervals. And there's a lot of discussion about investing into the engine for graphics in the game. This comes from the EG Sims excitement over the improving that. And yes, that's EG7's. I have heard though a couple of times that what EG7 is excited about and what the people of Tiny Stone Games are excited about aren't necessarily the same things.
It does say a little further up, though, that there's more work being done to reduce server lag, especially during raids. So I
Yeah.
wonder if that will walk hand in hand, maybe? Question mark.
Well, and when I say
Well,
about engineering graphics in the game, I was thinking that they're talking about having a significant overhaul of how things look and feel.
I was about to
Oh,
say, doesn't it also kind of depend on what exactly it is that is causing the lag and issues like that?
Oh, there are a lot of factors on it because some of the lag issues are simply due to communication stuff after it leaves Standing Stone Games, which of course is the stuff that they have the least control over. Now, sometimes they try to see if they could reroute something so that help those, but I'm pretty sure that some of the lag that they experience in places outside of North America are probably simply due to how far they are away from it. And one of the questions, of course, somebody asked was, is there any thought about having servers based in Europe again? And of course, the answer to that is, unfortunately, no, they do not have any plans on that at the time. And that's about all I want to go into, unless somebody has something in here that they would like to talk about.
I just like that there's no new instruments being announced, so we probably aren't getting a harmonica anytime soon.
Well, yeah, it's unlikely we'll be getting a harmonica anytime soon. Let's head out into the LOTRO Beacon then, where we have issue 193, where, as I just noted, our executive producer Severland conducted an open Q&A session, and you could watch the chat on the LOTRO stream. Maybe they'll eventually have a edited copy to post on YouTube. That will, of course, be later. And as I said, you could also check out Massively Overpowered's article, which which is linked in the show notes. And Squirrel crunches some player numbers, and we will talk about that later. And Renfail cooks Lotro food in real life, and you could see him make some onion soup in a YouTube video. Some onion soup. And here is our question of the week. What would you do during a good omen skirmish event?
Probably read Terry Pratchett.
I would skirmish and see what it was about.
I was going to say I was going to kill harbingers. What else would you do? But that's just
But it's good
Piney's answer.
omen. So, like, maybe the
Oh,
harbingers would
good.
help us.
Oh, good omen as opposed to an ill omen skirmish event.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a good point there.
Did you know what? I make a Terry Pratchett joke and ain't nobody catching it.
I
I'm
caught it.
done.
I caught it. I just didn't hit push to talk, so you guys, I wouldn't interrupt Pineleaf while I was laughing.
All right. Yeah, right. So a good omen skirmish event. Oh boy, you gotta. Yes. What would we do during a? I have a feeling then that does that mean that cousin Netta could be happy for a change instead of constantly talking about all these nasty omens that are out there.
Maybe, and maybe it would be like good for our skirmish soldiers too, and they could actually like level up to us.
Oh wow!
Like our skirmish soldiers could be like heroes in the Good Omens skirmish event. It would be pretty cool.
Oh my!
We
You
become the
mean
quest givers.
they become useful? Yes. Oh, we become the quest givers. We could use
Now
this
that would be
slash
kind of
SOS
interesting,
above.
except they'd probably then let us die on occasion, and I'm not so sure about that. But if they gave us a good campfire with s'mores,
We need that. What is it? There's one thing that we need that they never. The Good Omens skirmish event is basically it has to basically entail something and incorporate something with like freeze tag.
Mhm.
We need some freeze tag.
Yes. You know what would really be a good omen
getting pie
with
before the
skirmishes?
skirmish. Oh, what?
If the skirmish vendors could actually start selling items that are above 105.
Oh, and here I thought you were gonna say that then they should also drop like skirmish marks and medallions that are right above level 105 too.
Well, there is that little detail.
Can you get a rainbow thing like cosmetic for your house? An actual like rainbow that you can put up
Yes.
there? You can? Okay. Because I would say if you couldn't, then the Good Omens skirmish event would be like where you would get it. It would have to be.
Oh, there's a rainbow item for the house?
Yeah, it's one of the lighting items in the new area.
Ah, okay.
Like if they had an outdoor one though that you could put like in your yard, that would be a good thing for like a
Yeah.
Good Omen skirmish event.
That would be certainly a more appropriate place for a rainbow to be.
I like it like coming through one of the windows though. It's pretty cool.
Ah.
It comes through the window and you happen to have it land on like the door to Mordor.
That would be pretty fun, but I wasn't quite that.
It'll be a bit of a war between the light and the dark.
There's gold at the end of the rainbow. Well, the end of the rainbow is going through the door that we use to get to Mordor, so...
I mean,
gold
there's
and-
gold, but you might
Wrong
not want to
kind.
touch it.
Oh, the gold was transported to Hlingris.
Yeah, don't go there.
Let's head to the fansite news, where last week we were singing?
I think they forgot an H.
Yes.
Yep.
Speaking of singing, Gorendis basically says, somewhere over the rainbow, Nazgûls fly.
Yes.
Mm.
But yes, we do occasionally sing on the show, but I think they did forget an H there because we were shing-shinging. Actually, it was Pine Leaf and he was shing-shing ditching.
Well,
Having somebody
I was
else do that to him.
actually it was the NPCs who were shinging, and they were ditching me. But that's another point.
Sorry, Pineleaf. I took a little bit of poetic license with the title.
Yes.
thought
We were
too
going
long.
for clickbait, okay.
For LOTRO stream is your first stop for LOTRO on Twitch, where this week Balville runs skirmishes, Token Professor heads to the market, and Eldaleth runs the Ill Omens event. And also on Twitch.
So are they saying the Tolkien Professor is a little pig? This little piggy went to market.
Probably not.
I don't think he went to the market the same way as that little piggy did, though.
Also on Twitch, Chapitora celebrates a milestone. King runs Rimmerhant. I can't say that right. And Night Vision looks for a fight. And and over on YouTube, Louis7 gets excited for Wildwood. Virtually Bob returns after a long break, and Metapots helps you imbue your legendary weapons.
Does he really? Does he really?
Oh, he helps you to imbue them, but not to level them up afterwards, probably. And for our screenshot of the week, Annie sends in this dawn of a new day in on Erebor for this week's screenshot of the week. You can send your screenshot in consideration by emailing to LOTRO@StandingStoneGames.com.
Lens flare.
That's really pretty.
It is pretty, though.
And with that, let's head to our store sales. And Calabathian, what's on sale this week?
Oh, Lord, you chose me. I didn't even raise my hand. Why'd you call on me, teacher?
Well, don't the teachers always call on the ones who don't raise their hand?
Yeah. I just never thought it would be used upon me. So, War of Three Peaks stuff, actually, this week. It's now available for LOTRO points. And you can find the War of Three Peaks in the LOTRO store.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, though. Does anybody know how much it is for the LOTRO points, the LP?
No, it won't show it to me because I already have it.
Yeah. I don't imagine it's cheap, but yeah,
No.
it's available.
Yeah, of course it won't be cheap because it just hit the store, so you can say this is going to be the high tide price for it.
Yes, but we can also get 25% off vault storage and shared storage, inventory slots, currency cap. That's going to be through the 25th of February. Our weekly coupon, you can get a tome of tracking with the coupon code TOTRACK, T-O and then track, also through the February 25th date. Unless you are opening Hobbit presents as a hunter, and my hunter gets tomes of tracking all the time, and I'm like, don't really. But you can get them if, you're not a hunter and you need them. And that looks like everything that's going to be in store sales this week. So spend if you got them. Spend them if you got them.
Or if you're
want
still
them.
allowed to buy them.
Or if you're still allowed to buy them. I mean,
if you haven't hit the storage cap and desperately want more.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you have to start buying character slots to make storage alts. Anyway.
Then in our site news, we have another chapter 17 of A Berg's Tale, where apparently someone is going to a very bleak place.
Indeed, full of orcs. And he's doing it alone, and he's kind of getting having a slight identity crisis when, he feels the pressure coming on. But our friend Morkendir, the burglar, he's on a mission while, the ranger, Kendith, is, still kind of puttering around, not finding Radagast. But it's very short. It's like 5 pages, I think. So it's not very long, but it ends on a cliffhanger.
Okay.
It also makes you kind of wonder, like, what in the heck is going on now? But I'm going to tell you right now, when you read the next chapter, when I post it, you're going to basically shake your head and go, "This poor dude, he can't get a break."
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Then we also have a article by Squirrel on LOTRO classes and class and level numbers, where he has Essentially, he went to Evernight and took a snapshot of all the characters that were present on the server at that time. This was on the evening at Evernight. And essentially what he did is he listed no, each of the classes and what level ranges each of the characters were on for that one. Now, he did note, of course, that this is for he had it set so that he would show anyone who was not anonymous, since anonymous players, of course, won't show up in these statistics. So if there are certain classes that are more likely to be anonymous for some reason, then
Especially if they play on the moors.
right. So yeah, most likely then yes, people in the moors are probably the most likely ones in which to be anonymous or something like that, so people can't find them.
Better that
But
they be anonymous than anonymous. But
all right. So what I noticed there is that, for example, with Bjornings, the Bjornings seem to be about average in there, where we had about 25% of them were in 50 and under. 50 to 100 seem to be another 20, a little bit less than 25%. Only a small number were 100 to 119, and then the the largest percentage seemed to be 120 to 130. And burglars, it seems like burglars, captains, and runekeepers, those three classes, the majority were at between 120 and 130 in there. While in all the others, it tended to be, even though I think the largest share tended to be in that range, there there were more of the other ranges than of the 120s and 130s people. Guardians, I noticed, that were the ones who had the lowest percentage of top level people in there.
I know that when it comes for burglars and runekeepers, at least, they're kind of squishy. So being like a higher level, like 120, 130, reduces the squish.
And for
That
some
I
reason
don't know.
and for some reason they have absolutely no data on the brawler.
I can't
I wonder
imagine why.
why. My gosh.
All right. Now, as for the absolute, now he also has a chart with absolute numbers in there, where by far the largest number that were logged on were high level hunters, where there were over 500 of them that were logged on.
Yeah.
So a
It's
lot of
hard to get
hunters.
a spot in a raid as a hunter sometimes.
I get this, and this explains why. Yes.
What was interesting too, though, sorry, Pine didn't mean to cut you off. The next highest, according to that same chart, was high level, 120 to 130 champions, but really close behind that were level 1 to level 50 hunters. I'm sensing a pattern here.
Yes, and then you're right, and then champs. Yes, there are a large number of low level. It looks like that the for most of them, as I said, for most of the classes, the highest level band are the highest one, while the second highest for tended to be the low level band, the ones to 50s.
Yep.
And let's see, so it looks like if we go by the highest band, the most common you'll run into are the hunters, then the champions, then the captains, then the rune keepers and the minstrels were pretty close to each other,
Mhm.
so they're doing the
Yep.
healing duties. Then your lore masters, then your wardens, then your actually no, you burglars, then wardens, then Bjornings. So Bjornings and the wardens seem to be the rarest two classes that actually, oh no, I missed, oh, the guardians. I missed the guardians. The guardians are between the wardens and the Bjornings. Or it's hard to tell. Yeah,
It's pretty close.
it's pretty close. Yes, I would say concerning the error ranges that are involved, because, and of course, every server is going to be different. This is specifically on Evernight. Remember, so you have there, and this was on weekdays. Now, weeknights. Is there much of a difference on weeknights? On weekends? Let's see.
It looks like just from an overall glance, there were more, and this is, I could be totally wrong here because I don't have exact numbers, but just from looking at the two, it looks like there were even more level ones to level 50s involved in certain classes, particularly in Guardians. There's a huge shift. But other than that, I mean, it seems like it's fairly steady.
Yeah, I would say that the biggest thing I noticed is that the hunters the second most common thing were the low level hunters. The high level hunters were the highest one. The low level hunters were the second highest one, even outpacing the high level champions in that one. So that's a lot of people like to enjoy their weekend doing that. Now, I should note that the absolute numbers are lower on the weekend afternoons because that's only on 2 afternoons, while the weekday numbers are over 5 days. So I don't know the exact way in which he made his numbers, all that stuff, but that gives you sort of the idea on there. Okay, sorry, Brax. You get the idea then, is this is on an article at LOTRO Player. So he has a huge number of numbers, and they're trying to go into details on there. And I think that's probably as much as I'll go into it, considering that I'm totally confusing the live audience in there. And that is, I suggest that you go to LOTRO Players and look through those if you are interested in those numbers. So let's head into our.
Actually, I'm kind of interested about the numbers, but what I'm more interested in is how you can, well, one, what the numbers look like on the other servers and how that translates to player preferences and tendencies. So that, like the devs, they're always looking, to do this, that, and the other. And they're listening to us, but are playing and what we choose to play and when we choose to play it. That has to go into one, what sales they're offering, when they're offering them, and what they want to do next. Because if people are preferring to play high level captains or champions, 120 and up, throughout the week, then, how does that translate to what they want to offer, as content?
Well, and that's why I mentioned kind of something that was said during Severlin's talk was he said that they were looking at the data behind all of the patches that they do and player involvement and stuff like that. So if they do have these numbers and they are going by similar things, then they will be able to figure out what is working and what's not working. So that was kind of
Oh,
exciting to me because
yeah.
they have this information.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Standing
They have
Stone
way better
Game. Yes,
information.
yeah. Standing Stone Game has a lot better information to it because Squirrel went by with as much of the public information
Oh
as he
yeah.
is able to get.
Yeah.
And of course, Standing Stone Games, first of all, their data includes the anonymous players. And on top of that, they would be able to have data collected
Over
for
years.
24/7 over all the
Mhm.
servers instead of one server at a snapshot of the times. Because Squirrel probably has a day job that he needs to do, and he can't just constantly check the servers constantly to see what's happening at various times of the day. So much you can do. Now let's head to our week in gaming. Calabathian, what were you up to?
Not very much because I didn't do much this week due to that big winter storm Uri knocking out my power for a couple of days. So I had to stay under 5 heavy comforters in bed, along with my 2 cats, in order to survive it. I just got my water back like earlier today, as a matter of fact. Haven't had any since like, I don't know, like what, Monday, Tuesday, whenever it rolled through? I don't know. But yeah, maybe Wednesday. Needless to say, that didn't allow me to do a lot of gaming this week. Or toilet flushing. Let me tell you stories. No, you don't want to know.
No.
Let's put it this way. I've got all of my things are good. I'm not leaking any of my pipes anywhere, but I've put on a load of laundry. My dishes are going to wash. I finally get a shower that's hot. A shower period statement. Yeah, life is good. I just didn't game, pretty much until like last Friday and today. So that said, the Academy ran through the snows in and around Thorin's area, doing stuff. The irony was not lost on me, but my high elf mocks me with her ability to not feel cold, despite having crap gear, tattered cloak and all. Here I am with 5 comforters, trying to get in, through a deep freeze, and my high elf is rolling when they jump, and being all graceful and wearing holy clothes, and I don't mean like sacred clothes, but holy clothes, and metal and everything else. I'm like, really? Stupid human, as Terry would say. But today I actually went warging for a little bit on the moors with Cinders. There wasn't much happening at that time until a Hobbit Berg, who doesn't actually PvP, apparently they just go out collecting resources, decided to get sneaky as heck with a gigantic thistledown charger and nearly killed Cinders in doing so. It was crazy. There's a big, if you've been on the moors near TA, there is a really, really huge, like, auroch thistledown type thing. It's a signature, and it's because it's named Rock Withers. It's massive. It's like, are you a Mumok? No. But it's huge. And so Cinders and I, took our little wargos, and we were fighting it because we were in the area doing that. And we were grr-rar, pee and bite. And all of a sudden, underneath it, I see a flash of a name in yellow. And at first I say, we have company. And then I actually notice the word was first. And I'm like, that's a first marshal. That's not one of ours. And it's this little hobbit Berg who just appears under this gargantuan, like, oxen-like thing, and it's just beating the crap out of Cinders. And I'm like, Cinders, we have, it's not one of ours. And she goes, what, where? And I'm like literally under under the thing we're trying to kill. And so she wound up, kind of trying to run away and bite at him. And I was, hacking at him and biting at him, and she finally had to like sprint off because he nearly killed her. And then he disappeared, and we lost him, and we didn't ever actually get to kill Rock Withers either. But yeah, we were kind of mentioning it and mentioned the name involved, and other people in the chat were like, "Yeah, he doesn't actually PvP, so why didn't you kill him?" It's like, because he was sneaky as heck. That was a pretty good idea, hiding underneath a massive, just tiny little Hobbit Berg, hiding under something huge to try to jump out at you and get you. That was sneaky. I approve. But yeah, we then decided to transition to a very brief attempt, she and I, to take our pig riding Vallard freaks to the moors to see what we could do. But she was a guardian, and I'm a hunter. My hunter, arrow to the knee. But we decided to, see what we could do. Not much. because it was just the two of us. We had no DPS. Yeah, we tried though. It works a lot better with the whole group involved. But yeah, I think if we were wanting to go out on the moors, just like she and I, like if we were in a small group like that, as she mentioned, we would probably need to be 130 and actually have better gear and not actually be level scaled up even from 120 and just Vallard like that and rank 1 apparently. But yeah, but other than that, yeah, that's what happened this week with me other than, burr cold, someone help. But Arendis, how about you? What happened? Tell us.
Well, I did not get up too much this week either, though, for different reasons. I mostly, let's see, I lost the page, sorry. Here we go. My main character, Arendis, continued adventuring through Gondor and found out she is not out of the woods yet with regards to epic battles, as she now has to go help retake Pelargir, and was that there was another epic battle, so that'll be an interesting thing to go through later. Um, I also took my Vallard High Elf champ to Gondor to work on part of the epic story to get some of the cosmetics that I couldn't get on the first time I played through. I also found out that, surprise, surprise, Vallard characters are decently okay against level 97 mobs. I decided to, just for the fun of it, try to pull a fellowship level roving threat with said Vallard champion and didn't die. So I don't know why I was worried there for a minute. But other than that, that was basically all that I did this week. Sans, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. I received some really nice in-game mail, reminding me of the good there is in our LOTRO community. So, that was really cool. And ran my low-level guardian around Erdluin some more on the field trip, which was a lot of fun.
So what did you get in-game mail? Was that the gear?
I got a gift from one of our listeners of a couple of Scrolls of Empowerment.
Nice.
Very nice. So, they found a couple of the unbound ones that are still unbound and shared.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Oh, right. Yeah, I did not find anything.
It was just a really nice letter.
It was
That's
just
all.
a very nice letter. And, then in ESO, I worked on discovering more about the Hairstorms with Terry and Pineleaf, and did some Glenumbra questing with Grendis, and may or may not have a new werewolf. Yeah. And then I went to a Viking in Civ 6 and took some encampments right out from under a barbarian spearman with a hero, Sinbad, the sailor. That was pretty fun. So yeah, that was pretty much my week. How was your week, Pineleaf?
My honor warden headed into Ithilien and ran away from an oliphant.
You ran away from an oliphant?
Yeah, remember that instance where you do with the Sons of the Black Root?
I do.
Yeah. So we were running away from the elephants. I guess it was more. I think the plural is the reason why we're running away. So.
Yeah, probably that would make sense.
Though it was either that, or would you rather have ended us with us killing the elephant?
No, actually, I'd rather it end with us riding the elephant off to safety. But I don't think that's an option yet.
Well, yes, there is that. Then over in ESO, I progressed through the main storyline with my solo character. That's on top of what I was doing with Sans and Terry. Then over in board gaming, I started playing a new game I hadn't played before called Charterstone. This is a legacy game. and I've played through the first 4 games of the 12-part campaign in there. I'm having a lot of fun with that. So I've been spending a lot of time playing Charterstone. Now I'm playing it with the physical version of it, though I heard that there's also a version of that on Steam, so I haven't tried that out yet. And over in What's Beyond LOTRO, we have another poem by Darren Loremaster, where he's talking about Boromir at the Council of Elrond. Spake Boromir, why can't we use the ring against its maker, Sauron? Everything we know about the ring urges its use for good. My lords, you cannot be obtuse to this advantage. Rings are but tools used as the wielder wishes. You're a fool, Gandalf here interrupted. The one ring is bent to evil only. By using the ring, you but play into Sauron's hands. To be enslaved, enraged. The matter stands like this. Remove the ring from Middle-earth, or else return the ring to where its birth was forged, into Mount Doom to make it not, destroyed forever. All those present caught their breaths a moment. Boromir could see it was no time to press his claim, but he would argue at another time and place. Thus later, he could better make his case.
Well, that brings up a good question.
Yeah.
Which would have been easier, removing the ring from Middle Earth entirely, or throwing it into Mount Doom? Getting to Mount Doom and throwing it in there.
Well, what does one have to do? And let me see, where are you going to take this that removes it completely from Middle Earth?
Now, that's what I'm wondering, because I mean, if Gandalf is saying, either remove it from Middle Earth entirely, I mean, okay, like to Valinor, what?
Well, you're not going to take it to Valinor because I don't think they're going to let it in that area. I mean, just look at what happened with the Cimmerils.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, but the fact that Gandalf even says it is like, is he saying it because, there's no way to get it, or is it like, is there even a choice?
Yeah, because I can't think of any other way to it. Because if there's any place other than Mount Doom that could destroy the ring, it would probably be at the ocean vents way at the bottom, at the ridge of the ocean, and it's not exactly a place you can easily get to.
Frodo, you have to get into the deep sea submarine and go to the Mariana Trench. Toss the ring, Frodo. I can't. It will collapse the sub. There's too much pressure. But yeah, no, it just brought that to mind because, it's remove the ring from Middle Earth or, take it to Mount Doom. I'm like, those are our choices? You mean we could remove it from, where would we go? That was my question. I'm like, where would we go? How would we do it?
Yeah, it'd be really nice if there were a more convenient volcano somewhere.
Yeah. Convenient volcanoes. Man, that Mordor volcano, Mount Doom is just so inconvenient. That's what you get from this, is that Mount Doom is inconvenient? Yeah, if only there was one in, like, the Grey Mountains, man. Now I want to get all geological and start finding fault lines. Like, it's like, okay, we've got the Ring of Fire, and little places like that with the volcanoes. And I'm like, what about the tectonic plates of Middle Earth? What were they like at this time? Can we, like, trace them in a map? I would like to know.
Tune in next week to Geography in Middle Earth with Calabathian.
And here we have a subduction fault.
Yeah. Oh, yes, we need to. Yes, Just find a nice subduction fault so the 3 can be pulled into the depths of the earth.
Just leave the ring right there, and the next big earthquake. Slurp.
You gotta time it so that you don't have Sauron's forces arrive there before the earthquake. That's the big problem.
I guess that's where we have to go down to the Mariana Trench in the submarine. with Sam and Gollum in a yellow submarine. Let's get the Beatles involved while we're at it. Anyway.
Our top supporter this month is LOTRObuild.com. LOTRObuild.com is a collection of full LOTRO databases, including an items database, a relics database, and a titles database. Also, you can use it right from Discord with LOTRObuild bot. We currently have 16 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, you can go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money would be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. We did not receive any emails this week. If you'd like since when, you can send it to podcast@luchaplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. The Players Alliance @Players Alliance, Lucha Players @Lucha Arendis @Arendis, Pineleaf Pineleaf Needles, Sends Winda Sends Winda, Terry Edwin Terry Edwin, Guarendis Guarendis, and Calabathian Calabathian. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have Lucha Players, DDO Players News, and on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Lucha Players News. You can source our shows at luchaplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.